Hello everyone, and welcome back to an indie game show that still doesn't have a name, and may never have one. 1.6 million pounds. That's roughly $2.2 million. That's how much one of the most successful Kickstarters in the history of Kickstarter made. For a porn game. That's right, today we're reviewing the recently released early access of Subverse. I know, some of you are thinking, Jesse, did you really play a porn game? Play it? I helped fund it. I'm the producer of a game where you hook up with monsters, and another game where you bang fellow tycoons in 19th century London. This shouldn't be shocking to you. Frankly, you shouldn't expect anything less. But I will admit, the idea of reviewing a game like this is a hard one. Especially since I can't show you some parts of the game on YouTube. And obviously, I'm now only thinking about the fact that I said it's going to be a hard one a second ago, which is making it even harder. Damn it. So I got creative and figured the best way to review this early access title, especially as someone who dropped some cash on it simply to be part of the insanity, is to give feedback as a producer, like I would for the games I produced, like I am currently for other games I'm working on. And if the devs see this, great. If not, at least y'all get some insight into how I think about games, even the dirty ones. Yup, perverts. Subverse is a tactical RPG shmup hybrid from the minds of Studio FOW, or FOWL, I'm not sure how you say that. If you've never heard of them, then you are a sweet, innocent soul who definitely shouldn't Google them. Basically, they're part of the upper tier of source filmmaker smut peddlers on the internet, but like, real nasty. So when they were like, we're gonna make a dirty game, people were interested, especially one with the promise of fun space battles, tactical RPG fights, and some Mass Effect style bang your space girlfriend, but you know, without the fade to black. And on a basic level, the game delivers that. You're the captain of a ship with a crew of ladies traveling the galaxy, fighting different factions of space baddies, from renegade sex bots to a puritanical empire. And in the middle of all that, an old friend of yours asks you to help her out and take on a scientist who's on the run. And of course, things escalate from there, and soon you're caught up in a galaxy-spanning quest that could change everything. On paper, fun premise, but it's a porn game, so you know it's not going to be exactly that. Even from the beginning, the intro, which has nothing dirty about it, just feels dirty. Is it the colors, or the music, or the fact that the captain has panties on his face the entire time? I don't know. It just has a vibe. It lets you know what you're in for without actually showing you, which I think is a feat in itself. Speaking of panties on the face, that is a line I never thought I'd say in a video. It's got a humor that is definitely geared toward an audience that is not me. There are some extremely well-written and well-acted parts of this game, don't get me wrong. The voice acting specifically is pretty great.
Hey, that wasn't my fault. They never told me those crates were full of pure cocainium. They should have known a bloke like me was going to lose at least half that shipment up his nose.
I was actually surprised how much I enjoyed a lot of the VO and the line reads. When the evil droid pops up and just roasts everyone from time to time, I loved that.
Harry, take down this message and send it to whatever remains of the solar military.
Yes, General. Shall I relay this message on a background of middle fingers and fully holographic meat spins?
But the script, it's uneven. The world building and the later plot elements are very well done. But again, the humor is just... It feels like a hentai form gained sentience and co-wrote a comedy with the dude in the comments down below who is definitely calling me a soy boy right now. That's the kind of humor, which I guess is the point. So look, if you want to experience a universe where everyone's calling people cucks, yet somehow saying fuck is still a little naughty, this is it. But let's be real, neither I nor most people playing this game are doing it for the dialogue, even though there is so much of it. We're gonna move on, but we will come back to this topic later. The game itself in its current build is just the first couple chapters, but for the most part, you fly around the galaxy, assembling a super team to take on your empire-defying quest, and your missions are pretty much one of three things. Discovering a planet, which has a quick event that can possibly earn you some cash, a space battle, or a ground battle. The last two being the vast majority of the gameplay. The space battle shmup fights are honestly gorgeous. They look good, they play well. Again, another thing I was shocked by and find pretty damn awesome. At present, there are 3 factions you can fight, each with different ships and tactics. It's quick-paced, it's fun, the boss battles are dope. At the start, I was loving it. But again, we'll come back to that. The ground combat tactical RPG battles are fairly light when it comes to mechanics. Every character or monster has an attack, a defense, movement, maybe an additional action, and then 1 or 2 special abilities you unlock by doing or taking enough damage. In my original draft of this review, I wrote down how it seemed like it was kind of a tacked-on feature. There were clearly balancing issues and quality of life things. I had some suggestions. Well, it's clear I wasn't the only one, because today when I jumped on to record some more footage for this video, much of the ideas I had were already implemented. A great example is I was like, boy, we could really use that thing where you mouse over an enemy on the timeline and then it shows them they highlight on the battlefield. That wasn't in it, and when I logged in today, it definitely was. They did it. I couldn't be happier with the changes they're making to it. I'm actually impressed. It's very clear they're listening to the audience, and I think that's pretty awesome. Anyway, when either space or ground battles finish, you get a star score and points and items that you gather to give to your team. You level up your crewmate and unlock PP, which can be used to buy scenes with your crew. The higher the star rating, the more points you get. You also get parts to help improve your ship, buy new monsters, and do additional things that really aren't implemented in a big way right now, so we'll move past that. But in the end, all the things I mentioned funnel into the core aspect of this game. The doing it. It's what you're playing for, it's probably why you clicked this video, and it's probably why you're still watching this part. And the reason I said we'll come back to it with everything I was talking about is this. I think the dirty stuff in this game is currently the biggest issue. Let's go back to dialogue. I said there was a lot, and there is. There is a lot of story, and it takes a while to get past the goofs and into the meat of the game. And just to give you some numbers based off the footage I recorded for this video, even with pressing the skip button on a few scenes, there was just under an hour of talking head dialogue or cutscenes before unlocking the ability to explore your ship's corridors in the galaxy. And in that intro time, you only do roughly 31 minutes of actual gameplay. And to break that down, that's 1 tutorial, 1 round of space fights, 1 round of ground fights, 1 boss fight, and 2 sex scenes. In an hour and a half, with me pressing skip towards the end because I played through it all once before, this is what we got done. It's a slow start by any stretch of the imagination. And then, once you discover the shmup battles or the tactical RPG battles are connected to your ability to get some, the pervert in you is like, I'm gonna do all these and try to get the highest rating to get the most points to unlock stuff faster. But in doing so, you more quickly realize that the joy of blowing stuff up in space or getting a great headshot in a ground battle fades. Especially when there are so many space battles, and enemies that felt unique and different quickly become the same old, same old. It got to the point where the space battles I loved, because the music and the visuals and the gameplay were kind of like, what if I don't and I just go find a ground battle? And while the ground battles lack all those quality of life things I mentioned, there's something a little bit more fun about them, about sort of the XCOM-y vibes of getting off the right shot or positioning your units. It's a little bit slower and thoughtful, and I don't know, I just found myself in the end liking it more than I did the shmup parts. Which sucks because there are fewer ground battles than space battles. And while winning either of these isn't necessarily hard, doing so in a way that gets you a gold star, for example, at the end of a level, and unlocking all those points to get rewards faster, it's kind of a pain sometimes because the AI isn't always fair, we'll say. But still, imagine you're like me, playing through the game the first time, you've unlocked everything there is to unlock, and now you have access to the Pandora system, which is basically how you arrange for dates with your crew. And once you get in there, we have to ask the question, was all that work worth it? Well, according to a lot of the feedback I'm seeing, not really. You spend your points, you unlock a few scenes that play like a GIF or like a looping movie. Maybe 1 or 2 have a slider at the bottom that moves and changes what happens slightly, but really, it's just like pressing a button and seeing a short movie clip. But people originally bought in for the interaction, for it being gamified. And it's simply not. If you're gonna make a racing game, it needs to have racing game features. If you're gonna kickstart a Metroidvania, it damn well better be a Metroidvania. If you're gonna make a dirty game, the dirty stuff needs to be the star. And right now, the star of this game is everything but that. And because all of those things that you're doing funnel into the part of the game that's the most lacking, it brings down the fun of everything else with it. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I know you will in the comments, but one would think the idea with a game like this is that once you've done most of what there is to do, people are logging back in, not for the shooter bits, but to go to the captain's quarters and spend time with the crew, right? I don't know that that's happening right now. Obviously, this is early access, and things will improve and will change and will grow. And as I mentioned at the beginning, as a person who donated to the project at a level that there's a ship in the game that I've named, I'm giving feedback as I would if I was helping to produce this game, as if I were a part of the team. So I'm being critical. And so the thing I would hammer home over and over and over again in any meeting we had would be, what is the core concept of the game? It's neat to have all the other things, but this is the $2.2 million porn game. Yeah, I'm aware teams don't get all the money from Kickstarter. I'm aware they promised more than just the dirty stuff, but the idea is all the same. People are here to see what that kind of money can make, and you should be delivering on that. Blowing them away. I will say, I love how willing they are to accept feedback on forums and such, but what I'm seeing with the frequency is 99% of the feedback is about the naughty bits. So I know I'm onto something here. The key will be seeing how they handle it. At the end of the day, I'm gonna keep playing. Why? Because I'm a debased individual with no morals. And if anything, I think it's a great example of making a game for the first time. I think most devs who try to take on an ambitious game their first time around, they'll tell you this, it's tough. So I'm just trying to give some advice as how I see it. Don't try to make a game that's so big and all-encompassing that you forget why people cared in the first place. That's the big takeaway I have here, and it's the thing I think is the most important. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for checking out this video. If you're new here, more indie reviews coming. Also, check out our new educational show about games, or Gentleman's Gaming Club if you want some laughs. Both are totally different from this and totally different from each other. Can't put me in a box, YouTube algorithm. I'd love it if you could do all the YouTube things and like, subscribe, bell, comment, share with your roommate, whatever. And I'll see you next time with another game.